This week on the Navigating Personal Growth podcast, because we all fall into the habit of trying to control things and fix people. Oh, it's such a crux for me. I know, right? Hey Navigators, my name is Brooke Plack and I'm your host here today on the Navigating Personal Growth podcast, and I'm so glad you're joining me for today's episode. Sometimes I do episodes where I feel like I'm sharing wisdom and expertise, and sometimes I do episodes when I'm literally in the messy middle, and that is today's episode. Today's episode is about what I gave up for Lent. So even if you don't do Lent or you've never heard of Lent, it's so applicable to our lives because we all fall into the habit of trying to control things and fix people. Oh, it's such a crux for me. I know, right? And so how this came about in my life is I was really reflecting on, I'm not Catholic, but I do Lent, and I give up something every year for 40 days, really 47 because I don't take the weekends off. And a lot of times it's like food or, some sort of activity that's not as good for me. I've given up alcohol before. I've given up cheese dip. I've given up Diet Dr. Pepper when I used to be a soda drinker, like all the things, right? Well, this year I didn't really have anything that was like food or something that I do that I don't want to do anymore. And I really took some time to reflect and was like, you know what? I'm going to go for it. And I'm going to really try to unearth this bad habit or idol of my life of where I try to hold on to and control things. And so how it all started was I'm reading this book called Let Them by Mel Robbins, and I'll link it in the show notes. And she talks about in the book how we are not responsible for managing the emotions, the reactions, or the feelings of adults. That is not our responsibility, right? So when we do that, we're giving away our power and our energy that we could be using on other things. And so I started to realize as I was spending time reflecting, like I do this all the time. Like instead of letting situations be what they are, letting people be who they are, I try to figure out how I can be good enough, not too much, perfect enough, right enough to get people to love, accept, get on board. But really, I'm expending all of this emotional energy out that I need to reserve for myself and the things that I truly care about, because that is not my responsibility. How others see the world is not on me. And so that is what I've given up for Lent. I'm in the middle of Lent as of this recording. We will still be in Lent when it goes live. So if you're watching it live, you'll see it's still towards the end of Lent, I think the week before Easter. So let's talk about what fixing people really means, okay? And so you can see if maybe this shows up in your life too, because I always like to share things that aren't just about me, even though this one is like something I'm in the middle of a mess with. But okay, fixing people really means, this is what it means. It's the habit of trying to solve others' problems, manage their emotions, and control outcomes. Oh, I feel so convicted by the control outcomes part of that. Instead of holding other people responsible for what they say and do, I always look back on myself and try to figure out what I could have done to change the situation or what I could do now to fix it. And the truth is, there is no fixing it. There is no changing the situation. I need to accept it for what it is. You need to accept it for what it is. So why we do it? It comes from love, fear, or the need to feel responsible for others' happiness. I know for me, it shows up in my life because I'm a child of an addict, right? My mother was mentally ill and struggled with addiction to prescription pain pills. And when you are the child of an alcoholic or an addict, a very telltale symptom is that you are always trying to be good enough, perfect enough to always control what's going on. And if you can be all those things, then maybe they'll be okay, right? But there's other reasons that you could get to this too. But the truth is we're only responsible for our actions, not how others respond to them. I'm going to say that again. We are only responsible for our actions, not how others respond to them. And for me, that feels so frivolous. It's like, but then I need to, no, I don't. I need to do what's right. That is me taking responsibility for my own life and let others take responsibility for theirs. And I'm not there yet. But I'm actively, my friends around me will tell you, and in situations that have been coming up through Lent, I say, not in the business of fixing people. Not in the business of fixing people. And the first 5, 6, 7 days, it was so hard. And now I find myself not even thinking about it anymore because I feel like I spend so much of my energy putting my should on other people. And I've talked about that on the podcast before. Who am I to put my should on somebody else? But I do. And I'm like, well, if they would just, it would be so much better because it's not my life. It's not your life. So what if we release them to the wild? Release them. What could that look like? And I love this quote. It's an unknown author, but it says, you are not required to set yourself on fire to keep others warm. Whew. I think I'm living that as I say the quote. You're not required to set yourself on fire to keep others warm. We are not responsible for other people's happiness, for their joy, for good and bad. We are only responsible for our own lives. So here's my question for you before we go into trivia in the trenches, my favorite segment of the podcast. Do you ever feel like you're carrying responsibilities that aren't yours? Like managing people's emotions, fixing relationships, or trying to make everyone happy? Because that's what we're going to talk about in our navigation points right after trivia in the trenches. So here we go. Which mammal has no vocal cords? A giraffe. I know, right? Who knew? I mean, I don't think I've ever heard a giraffe make noise, but they previously thought they were thought to be silent, but actually they communicate through low frequency hums and body language. And the hums, which are often infrasonic, which means they're below the range of human hearing, help them stay connected over long distances. Giraffes also produce rare soft snorts or hums. I think maybe my husband probably would like me not to have vocal cords sometimes too, right? But humans do, so not really. Surely he loves to hear me talk, give all my advice, right? All right, so let's talk about navigation points. What do we do about this? All right, if you're like, Brooke, here we are sitting with a friend on the other side of a podcast, hanging out, and you're like, I do this. I try to control other people. I try to fix other people's emotions. What do I do now? The first thing to do is recognize what's not yours to carry. Just because you love someone does not mean that you're responsible for their happiness. You're responsible for your effort, not the outcome. So, for example, maybe you have a friend making a bad choice. Instead of fixing their bad choice, support them without controlling them. Okay? Maybe you have somebody giving you the silent treatment. Let them give you the silent treatment. That is a reflection of their emotional intelligence, not yours, and their inability to process emotions. Number 2, our second navigation point. Navigation points, I call them that because we're all just navigating through this life together, right? We're all just trying to figure it out as we go. Is trust that others can handle their own journeys. What? That is so hard. That is so easy to say, but that is so ridiculously hard for me to conceptualize and put my brain around. And it is hard to step back, but people learn from their own experiences, not by being fixed by us or anyone else. We're not fixed by anyone else. So why do we think we can fix other people? We can't. And letting go, and this is what's hard for me, right? This one's really hard. It doesn't mean that we don't care, but it kind of feels like that, right? It just means that we're having faith in their ability to grow on their own. Because that's what this life is about. Everyone's one precious life, their human experience, is their own journey for them to learn and grow. And, I've had leaders that I've trained and given them the best that I can. I'm not saying it's the best in the world, but the best knowledge, training, everything I can give them, wisdom, and it not work. And it sucks. But you know what? That's not on me. I can't carry that load. I have to let them go into the wild unknown and learn for themselves, right? I have friendships that I've cherished for 20 plus years and them no longer want to talk to me. I can't control that. I can't fix them. I can't fix the situation. I don't know why, but I have to let that go. And that's so, so hard. So number one, recognize what's not yours to carry. Number two, trust that others can handle their own journeys. Are you ready for number three? I feel like I needed a breath there. Release control and find peace. And I am a professional fixer, y'all. So I understand how hard it is to say this versus actually doing this, right? It's so much easier to say it. But we start by practicing surrendering the outcomes. And there's a couple ways you can do this. You can pray, you can journal, or you can simply just acknowledge that some things are out of your hands. And that is so hard to actually internalize and believe, but it's the truth. Some things are just out of our hands. And you can use this mindset shift. So if you're not driving, close your eyes, pause what you're doing, and I want you to repeat after me. If it's not mine to carry, I will not hold it. Let's say it again. If it's not mine to carry, I will not hold it. Right? That's a lot. And lastly, as we release that control and try to find peace, it's going to require some healthy boundaries and mostly faith and trust that what we know to be true is true. And that you know that I'm not saying anything on this podcast that's rocket science, but I know it's something that I struggle with. And like this podcast episode, I feel like sometimes I do them for you, the viewers, right? But I feel like I was almost doing this episode for me today. Like I needed to hear this from me. This is like my external journaling. And I know that there are other people out there that I'm friends with, that I know, that I see online, that I'm connected to in so many ways that struggle with this as well. And it's hard, y'all. It's hard to not want to put our shit on people and fix people. So it is my hope that I don't give this up after Lent. Maybe it was something that started with Lent that I can carry on forever. The year I gave up cheese dip, I had cheese dip on Easter, okay? But this year, I'm going to try to stay with this one and really be in pursuit of this. I'm 40 years old recording this. For the next 40 years, I think the pursuit is worth it for me. The pursuit to let go of what's not mine. If it's not mine to carry, I will not hold it. So here is my closing thought. It's your homework. You've got homework today. Are you ready? I want you to choose one thing today that you will let go of and trust that everything will unfold as it should. Not everything, just one thing, one stress, one worry, one person, one anxiety. Let it go. Keep it open-handed and trust that everything is going to work out because it will. Until next time. Thanks for listening to the Navigating Personal Growth podcast. I'm Brooke Plack. Join me again next week on your favorite podcast platform or on YouTube. This podcast is produced by ClantonCreative.com.